How's it going, guys? It is Thursday, April 9th. It is the day before we go on a kind of short Easter break. All right, so you don't have school um, on Friday tomorrow, and you don't have school Monday. So I kind of decided instead of getting into something super new, like starting 10.1, I'm actually going to have you guys take sort of a pre-test for chapter 10 on something that you've learned in the past. All right. So that's all we're going to do today. I'm going to run through a couple examples of what you learned before, all right, from your textbook here. Which basically this is a skill that you guys are going to need in order to be successful in chapter 10 anyway. So let's make sure we know what we're doing, okay? With evaluating an expression that involves a square root. Okay, so again, we're going to take sort of an IXL pretest today, but first I want to just run through how this should work and review it with you very briefly. Okay, when we come back from break, then we'll start chapter 10. All right, but um, evaluating an expression involving a square root, what we want to do, guys, every time, every problem, we want to do what is underneath the square root symbol before we do anything else. Okay, so we want to do the math, if necessary, underneath the square root symbol first before we do anything else. All right, so this first example right here, we would take the square root of 121. And now something that's different in this chapter is we're only looking at the positive square root of these numbers. All right. Last chapter, we took the square root of 121, for example, and we said, oh, there's a positive 11 and a negative 11 as possible answers. In chapter 10, we're only going to look at the positive square root. Okay? So, again, first things first, I want to take the square root of 121 to get 11. And then from there, after we do the square root, we're just going to do everything in order in regards to order of operations. All right? So, next thing I would do in this problem is what's inside the parentheses. So, 11 minus 16, that gives me my negative 5. And then I multiply last to get 20. Okay? One more brief example from here. If we look at this try it yourself problem number 1, first thing I'd want to do is take the square root of 25 to get 5, then multiply by 7 to get 35, then add 10 to get 45 as my final answer. Okay? That's essentially the skill that you're going to work on in IXL, but it just looks a little different. So right now I want to run through a couple examples from IXL to make sure you guys can do well. Okay? So let's go in there. In IXL, the activity you guys are going to work on is all the way in the right column here. And I'm going to start right now. It's this one right here, FF.1. All right, where we are evaluating a radical function. That just means you're evaluating a function that consists of a square root symbol. Okay, so again, I want to show you some examples from here because it's a little bit different. It looks different. All right. Here's what they're saying. We did functions like this. This is called function notation. Remember, if they write it like this, as f of x equals something, that's called function notation. All right, so what they're asking us to do is they want us to plug in 9 for x, and they want us to evaluate this function. What is the answer when x equals 9? Remember, that's how we read this. The function when x equals 9 is equal to what? All right, so let's go through this. If I put 9 here for x, and I took the square root first, I always do that. I get 3, then I take 11 times 3 to get 33, and then I'm going to subtract 4 to get 29. I'm going to submit that. All right, next, they're asking me use the following function rule to find what is the function equal when x equals 121. All right, so here we go. Pay attention to this part. If I put 121 in for x, all right, plug it in. I'm going to do what's under the square root symbol first. Okay, I have to do that math first. So 146 minus 121, that's going to give me 25. Okay, now I'm going to take the square root of 25, which is 5, and I'm going to multiply by 5 last to get 25 again. Okay, let me show you one more, and then I'll have you guys go ahead and work on this. So again, what is this equal? What does this function equal when x is 42? I plug 42 in for x, add 7 to get 49. We're going to take the square root of 49 to get 7, and we're going to multiply that by 3. Okay, so the function when x is 42 equals 21. All right, so again, you guys are going to have these skills in order to do chapter 10, be successful in it anyway. So again, we're going to take a benchmark grade on this activity of FF.1 under Algebra 1, and that is your activity for today. Otherwise, that's it. Like I said, when we come back from break, we will begin chapter 10. Okay? I hope everyone has a good break, and I will talk to you guys next week.